Howdy, folks. Happy Monday. Not thank God it's Monday, but, whatever. Sorry for the things last week. Russ had the rookie showcase to go to in Washington. We had logistical issues. We always use it as a cover-all.
It was a bad week.
It was a bad week, and we may move things around a little bit because camps are starting, rookie tournaments are starting. So we may have a show on Wednesday, not sure about Friday, but we'll keep you updated. We will start with the pre-show. Go ahead, Russ.
All right. So watching football, I did a little research.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the average time for television for an NFL game is?
For the complete game from kickoff to end? Probably around 3.5.
Yes. 3:12 is an average.
Okay.
Like that game yesterday with the Cowboys started, I think, 4:20. I went to do a show at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
It was still on.
Mm-hmm.
It was 6 minutes to go. It's, everybody complained about baseball being too long. Football games are too long.
Yeah.
They need to shorten them. Now, something that they've done with the rules, they don't realize, but it's going to make it longer. So you probably, I don't know if you saw this yesterday because I was watching the Cleveland game for a little while.
Yeah.
And
I saw some of it. Yeah.
Okay. And there was a play in that game. Elijah Moore, pass thrown to him. It was pretty early in the game. He drops it.
Right.
They're like, hold up. There's an official review for this. And so in the box, you've got rookie Tom Brady, who honestly wasn't very good, but we'll see if he gets better.
Yeah.
And Burkhardt or whatever. They're like, oh, this is great for the game because now this will save so much time. The referees can go figure this out right away, and they don't have to go under the tent. And I'm thinking, this was a drop pass.
Right.
The guy's standing right there. What are we reviewing? There should be a limit as to what a referee even can review because he held up the game for like 3 minutes.
Right. I mean, first of all, they want the games that long because there's more commercial time.
Yeah, but fans don't want it.
No. Especially the fans that are at the games.
Right.
Except for these drunk idiots who
they don't care. They'll be there till tomorrow.
Who slam themselves through tables or spray ketchup and mustard on each other. I mean, I would not go to a Bills game again if I had to walk through that gauntlet of crap. But yeah, and I didn't hear any of Brady because I saw the game, but I was at a sports bar preparing to go see a show last night, and I just saw the game. I heard it was a tough game for a first-time announcer because there was so much dead time, and it was not a particularly good game. So, but it's like Romo can usually talk through almost everything. He's a chatterbox. Right. So Brady's going to have to sort of learn that, or he's not going to be good. I mean, especially if he's making.
Here's what I would say, right?
Yeah.
Like you and I have been doing podcasts. I called it internet radio for a long time. Tom hasn't.
Yeah.
So, but he practiced. They definitely put him through like Fox football school. You watch games, you practice. Somebody can teach you all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some point, they should have told him, like he says, oh, yeah, that offensive coordinator, Joe Blow, he's great. Everybody knows he's great. No, we don't all know him, Tom. I don't even know who this guy is. Tell us who he is. Tell us why he's great. Tell us what his credentials are.
Right.
He needs to do more explaining. Tom may know everything, but he has to let us know everything. That's what Romo's good at. That's what he's not good at.
Right. I mean, Manning would be good at that, and that's what with the Manning cast they fill a lot, and they fill with a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's not football related there, but yeah, no, I think he can learn that. But the thing is, I don't know. All I know is that somebody who does not particularly like Brady was like, gee, it's like now we're going to get Brady more than we get Mahomes because there was a Brady Edelman commercial where they're at a wedding. Yeah. There was another Brady thing where he's talking to the younger Brady and the Fox promotion. I mean, I'll say this. The commercials yesterday, because I watched the Bills game before I went to this concert. The commercials were extremely annoying. And, see, that's the thing. They want annoying because it makes you remember. But, see, I'm not.
I remember the Brady commercials because they were bad. They weren't good.
Right. And that's the thing. I'm not the target audience for that, because if you annoy me during a commercial, I will never buy your product ever. What concert? I went to see the band Crowded House. Yeah, Russ just put in the chat. And they were phenomenal. I mean, you got to remember, I'm 57 years old, so that's the music.
Yeah, they're not everybody's cup of tea. They're talented.
They're older, but they are. Let's just say this: my complaints about, say, Genesis or Phil Collins, that he couldn't sing anymore, and that was the reason why I didn't go to his shows. Neil Finn can still sing. He can still play. He's, I mean, they were sort of part of that in a way. They were part of that new wave movement in the early 80s with Split Ends.
Yeah, Split Ends, Tears for Fears. I didn't like them either. But
well, I mean, if you're talking about like New Zealand and
Australia, you're just talking New Zealand now.
No, I wasn't. I was just saying, if you're talking that, you're talking,
So I thought we were going to have elk talk.
You're talking like Men at Work and stuff like that, but
yeah, I didn't like Men at Work.
But I'm talking about like Talking Heads and Devo and like that. That's when they sort of came.
Yeah, they were in that realm.
Right, and they actually did Once in a Lifetime as a part of their encore, which was cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great song.
Of course, I went to go see them in 2010 in New York City at a place called the Bowery Ballroom, which is very famous.
Yeah.
And the night that I went to see them, they were phenomenal. I was 10 feet away from them. The next night, David Byrne jumped on stage with them and did Once in a Lifetime. So, missed it by a day. Just a little football thing here. I'll give thumbs up to CBS. They did not show Niagara Falls once.
Right. Must have a new producer.
But they did show the Anchor Bar, so
of course, that was a guarantee.
Show a place. First of all, show a place that makes good wings, and show a place that doesn't have a murder on its.
Mike, what they want is, who does the average Joe know about wings and Buffalo? And it's Anchor Bar.
Yeah, if I was taking a friend to a wing place, I would take him to the place that we normally go, or the place that we went during the Combine, which is 911 Tavern or Bar Bill or whatever. Yeah. I'm not taking him to that crap hole on Main Street.
No, but then again, it's like anything else. It's like there are some people that only know Wonder Bread, and the Anchor Bar is the Wonder Bread of wings.
And the other thing was, I could say the Bills did win, but
it was close.
They kept a bad Arizona team close, which is like, I mean, is that preferable to what happened to Cincinnati, that they lost to New England? Or
that was shocking. I didn't watch it, but I was shocked.
And I have to say, that yesterday the game that you were watching was the battle of the two worst contracts in the NFL right now. I mean, giving Dak Prescott $60 million is absolutely absurd.
I had to give it to him.
I know they did, but I'm saying it's absurd because
I don't think it's absurd in the sense that I went through the list with somebody that doesn't really know football with the top paid quarterbacks. That person knew three of them. Do you know who Dak Prescott is? Yes. Dak Prescott. Does everybody know who Dak Prescott is? Yes. Does that team make $5 billion? Yes. Well, then guess what? Because of all that notoriety, he deserves the money, and he's still a good quarterback. He's just not like elite.
Yeah, but the reason everybody knows Dak Prescott is because he plays for the Cowboys. Now, is he an above-average quarterback? Yes. Has he had any kind of level of success? I mean, I have a problem with
Cowboys make so much money that they have to pay him.
I have a problem with Kirk Cousins making big money.
Oh, I do too. He's one of them, no question. Here's the other thing I'll tell Andrew. Yeah. This was pretty funny. So I saw Marcus Hayes wrote for the Inquirer that, I think it's the Inquirer, I don't know, one of the newspapers online, that, hey, Jalen Hurts looks a little slow when he's running, and and he probably wrote more than that, right? I was having a discussion with my dad, who's 91. That was the first thing my dad said to me about Jalen Hurts. He looks slow. So my dad, who's 91 with not great vision, can see that Jalen Hurts is slow. Yes, Andrew. He's not the same quarterback. He hasn't been since that Super Bowl, and
he's taking a beating.
One of those bad contracts. He's good, but he's not great.
He's taken a beating over the few, and you know what? Maybe the tush push and stuff has
maybe. I never really thought about that. Now Barkley has really helped him because that's going to give him the extra juice. He had 3 touchdowns, but they can't count on that every week. So
and okay, everybody in Buffalo loves Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is one of the 3 or maybe 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the league, but he can't keep doing this jumping over people and diving.
No, he's not going to survive.
Yeah, I mean, he hurt his wrist yesterday, not his throwing wrist, but his other hand, and they think he's fine. But somebody's gonna tag him, and he's a big kid, but somebody's gonna tag him, and it's gonna be a situation like Roethlisberger, where later in his career he gets really slow. He can move around and run when you need to, but you got to learn to slide.
Yeah, you got to limit it.
But anyway, okay, let's start the show. Hello, Hockey World. Today is Monday, September 9th, 2024.
I'm Russ Cohen from Sportsology.com and NHLDraftBuzz.com.
Gee, I've never heard of that.
Never.
And I'm Michael Lagello, and this is the Hockey Buzzcast here on HockeyBuzz.com. Since we were away, the Leon Draisaitl deal came to fruition with the Edmonton Oilers. And as I sort of predicted, Draisaitl will now be the highest paid player in the NHL. Austin Matthews will be the highest paid player for a year, and then Draisaitl will take the throne.
And then another guy will take that throne, and we know who that is.
Right. Yes. Well, the question is, where will he take that throne? But we'll ponder that in a moment. But the Oilers, Stan Bowman, who doesn't seem to have problems spending other people's money, like he did
That's true, right? His first month as a GM, he's already signed the highest contract in the history of the league.
Right, and he had to, but
I know.
$14 million AAV for Draisaitl beginning next year. Now the important thing was to get him signed, and they did, but they. It doesn't seem like he had him over a barrel, and they signed him for the max. I mean, for the max years, and $14 million maybe down the road will be economical. But I mean, they got Draisaitl on a ridiculous deal for 8 years. Now this deal, I don't think it's ridiculous, but I think it does limit the Oilers in terms of what they're going to have to do over the next year. But we'll talk about what you would think of the deal itself.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the deal, it was inevitable. Could he maybe got him for 13.5, maybe, but whatever. You had to pay him. He wanted to stay. I told people all along, I heard he wanted to stay. He truly wanted to stay.
Right.
So when you have a guy like that, that's a top 10 player, probably a top 5 player in the league that wants to stay, you got to sign him. Will it ever be economical, this deal? No. The NHL is not going to have a skyrocketing salary rise to the point where you look at $14 million and say, Now the NFL, $14 million, that's like a quarterback. So different world. So I think it's a worthwhile deal. I do understand what you're saying. I still think if it were me, I would just have Bouchard run out his contract,
right,
and replace him, because I think he's more replaceable than paying him what a top defenseman gets. Because while Evan Bouchard gets these points, he gets a lot of these points because he's on the same power play with Draisaitl and McDavid.
Well, okay, so Bouchard has got another year of $3.9 million, and he put up, I think, 82 points last year. Yeah. He's 2 years away from unrestricted free agency.
Right.
So you could sign him to a 2-year bridge deal and walk him to UFA.
And that's what I would do.
Right. Now, if you do that, he's probably still going to want 8.5.
Yeah, you might be able to get him for 7.5.
Yeah, the only thing that you're doing there is you're not locking yourself up on 8 years. Now, maybe in this instance, you don't want to, but he's young and he's a good offensive defenseman, and you know what you've got there. So why wouldn't you want to lock him up for 8 years? But the issue is not Draisaitl, because his price point is locked in at $14 million. It's McDavid, and that's where people are missing the. Okay. Everybody's saying right now, we had an Edmonton reporter on a couple weeks ago on Off the Post. Everybody's saying, well, McDavid wants to stay in Edmonton and he loves it in Edmonton. And,
he's got that all black kitchen. Like, who else is going to build that for him?
Right. And John Tavares loved playing on Long Island until ownership problems, until the fact that the franchise was going nowhere. I'm not saying, Rangers 91Z in the chat saying he'll be a Ranger in 2 years. I don't think so, but
it's really not his style, to be honest.
No, but I think, could you see him go to LA? Could you see him go to Chicago?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but I could see it.
Yeah, could you see him go home?
Yeah.
Toronto? Could you see him go to Buffalo if Pagula?
Not Buffalo,
Russ, when he was drafted, he wanted to either go to Toronto or Buffalo.
Yeah, they were good then.
No, they weren't. They were the worst. They were one of the worst teams in the league. They finished second last. They got they had.
Was that when they first?
Yeah, no, they had
bad. Okay, I thought they were still good. Yeah, but they had Eichel, didn't they?
No, they drafted Eichel after McDavid.
That's right. Okay, so yeah, all right, that's gutsy.
So Erie Otters played in Buffalo. It was close to home. He's from Toronto.
That's true.
I mean, if he can't go,
have you ever been to Erie? I would say it's comparable to Buffalo.
Well, no, I mean, Buffalo is like Paris compared to Erie.
I won't say Paris, Mike. It's better, but I think it's like saying Buffalo's better than Cleveland. Like, what am I really comparing there?
Actually, Cleveland is bigger and better, so I can't.
No, but Lake Dirty is the common denominator here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dirtier in Cleveland.
Hey, Cleveland, the lake was on fire there one time.
Yeah,
not in Buffalo.
Sure.
But my point is, and somebody in the chat saying, well, they did Chiarelli sign Nurse to that deal? I think it was Chiarelli.
Yeah. It was a bad deal, but
good luck trying to move, because everybody says, oh, you just trade Nurse. Good luck. He's got a no move clause,
right?
And he's making 9.5.
And that's my thing. In 3 years, either I have drafted another defenseman that could replace Bouchard on the power play, because he's not a great defenseman. It's not like I'm losing anything there. Or I'm putting Nurse back on the power play. It's not gonna make that much of a difference.
Right. Nurse is a good defenseman. He's just not a $9.5 million.
Right.
That's the problem.
He can play the power play too. And my whole thing is, you still have McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, Bouchard's a really nice player. They can't afford him, so it doesn't matter. Right. That's my look. That's my view.
So that's where the decision, and that decision will have to be made pretty soon, because he's got the year left, and then he's got the 2 years after that. So, on the new deal, I mean, he can negotiate a new deal now. I don't think, if it's a 2-year deal, I mean, that's the only thing that gives them is a little bit of a bargain is, right. Okay, Evan, we'll offer you 2 years, and you get if at that point you want to sign with us, 8 years, boom. If not, you have a chance to go unrestricted and hit the open market. So give us your 2 good years, and we'll address it then.
And he'll do that. Yeah,
it'll be to his benefit. So that's probably where it goes. Okay, so some other news in the league. The Torrey Krug situation in St. Louis, as predicted, what we heard earlier in the summer.
Yeah, we knew.
That he was going to have surgery, and he's likely going to be out the entire season. I believe they knew that already, because that was the reason behind the offer sheets to Holloway, Broberg, because they knew that that Krug was going to go on LTIR, and they could fit those 2 contracts, which are a little more than what Krug is making. I think Krug's making 6.25, and the 2 deals between Broberg and Holloway is over 7. But to me, it's like they knew that this was going to happen, so that's why they went down that road.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I think I'm more interested in, and I hope I had some effect on who's going into the Blues Hall of Fame. I hope it's Emile Francis. We'll find out October 22nd. So that's the day I'm going to be bitching if it's not Emile Francis, because there would be no St. Louis Blues without him. Mike knows. Mike tried to be the guy at the draft for him. So
yes, when I was 15 years old, I'll just tell this story quickly. When I think it was Ralston Purina was the owner, and they had traded a bunch of draft picks away. They only had like a 4th, a 5th, and a 7th or something like that, or something like that.
They had 3 or 4.
Yeah, they had 3 or 4 picks. And my friend and I, who were in our teens, I think we're freshmen in high school. He was a stockholder in Ralston Purina. He had like 1 or 2 shares. He just entertained himself as a kid buying like shares of stock. So as a stockholder, he sent a letter to them saying, if you pay for our room and board I think it was in Toronto that year, maybe Montreal. If you pay for our room and board, we will draft for you. Just give us the NHL Central Scouting book and whatever. And we never heard anything back from them. But they passed on all their draft picks. They just didn't draft.
Yeah.
It was just idiotic.
It was bad. I mean, I have a Kindle Vella series, and it's all written in there. Or you can go to Locked On Blues with Haley Simon. I talked about it and referenced my article and all the quotes that I got from Emil. It's a fascinating situation, but I would like to just see what went on with that. But, Mike, I've got breaking news.
Go ahead.
So, all right, who is this? This is our friends at NHL.com have a Super 16 for the list for the coaches. And boy, do I disagree.
Okay, this is a top 16
top
list?
16, but I want to see if the whole 16's out because I only see 6 to 16. So let's see.
Okay. I think they're releasing the top 5 and it says a separate.
Maybe. Let's see.
While you're looking that up, I'll just fill with this. So, while we were away, the Calgary Flames have signed Tyson Berry to a PTO. They have a lot of spaces to fill, so he can run their power play, and they'll probably flip him at the deadline for a draft pick. So he'll probably get a job, and they'll get a pick out of it. So that makes sense. There's talk of the Bruins bringing in Martin Jones, which wouldn't be the first time that Martin Jones was property of the.
No, he was for like a couple weeks.
No, for like a couple days. I think it was
just days. Yeah,
they flipped him. Then it may not have been that long. They flipped him to San Jose through LA. Yeah, and at the 2015 before the 2015 draft. Now here's the funny thing. We joked about this on the last show. Whenever there is a player who's looking for a contract, they throw out 3 teams. There are three teams are interested in this guy. 3 teams are interested in Philip Zadina. And then one of those 3 teams turned out to be a team in Switzerland. Not right.
That's why they even tweeted, were we one of the 3?
Yeah. Max Pacioretty, 3 teams are interested in offering him a contract. Has he signed a contract yet? No. Now, Mark Giordano, his agent upped it to 4 teams.
Oh, there you go. There are not 4 teams looking to get a 40-year-old defenseman.
Now, the funny thing is here that 2 of the teams I cover, and in the article that Sportsnet posted, they said, well, one of the teams on the list is Calgary, but Calgary really hasn't shown a lot of interest. And that's not one of the 4 teams. If Craig Conroy said, I'm not really interested in him, then that's, okay.
Back down to 3, Mike.
Right. It's down to 3. And the 3 were Buffalo, Toronto, and Edmonton. Okay. Buffalo has top 4 defensemen who are lefties. Giordano is a lefty. They've got 2 righties on the bottom pairing. If they do that in Connor Clifton and Henry Jokiharju. They have Dennis Gilbert, who they signed as a free agent, and they have Ryan Johnson, who probably plays in Rochester. There's no space for Giordano. None. So that makes no sense. Edmonton, well, their defense sucks, and they lost Broberg, so that's a possibility.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to need oxygen if he's on the ice with some of those guys. Like, I don't know.
Right. Now, what I think is going on here is, and it's still not resolved. I think we know what's going on, but it's still not resolved. The Yanni Hakanpää situation in Toronto, where it was reported that he signed a contract, and I think they found out he's got a bone on bone in one of his knees, and
they'll find out on the day that he takes a physical.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't registered with the league. So is there a contract or not? And Brad Treliving has not said anything about it. So
well, you'll know if he's not there day 1 of camp. He's
right. So if he's not there, then there's no contract. And if there's no contract, then signing Giordano as a 7-8, okay, that's fine. Like he's not going to play all the time. And, we know he's what the quality of the person is. And he's from Toronto. And I think they would, now, Ranger in the
I would sign Kevin Bieksa before I signed Giordano. So that's
I'm not as down on him as you are. He was still effective last year, but he's not, he
couldn't stay healthy.
He got concussed. Anybody can get concussed.
He's 40, Mike. He's not staying healthy anymore.
I'm okay. if it's a league minimum deal and he's one of your depth defensemen, I have no problem signing him. Will that happen? Who knows? All right. Did you find anything more on the list? Okay. Yep. Okay. How do we do this? So
we'll go 16-1 because I think it'll be more shocking that way.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Number 16.
And I'll go up or low or whether I think it's right. Okay. Go ahead.
Number 16, Lindy Ruff. No way. No way.
I think that's about right. I'd give him I actually move him a little higher because
he's made the playoffs once in how many years?
Well, he made the playoffs with Buffalo. He made the playoffs with Dallas.
No, in recently.
Well, I mean, he was brought into a rebuilding Devils team, and he did get them to the playoffs. I mean, okay, but continue.
Right.
So I'd say even or maybe a little up, but that's in the range.
15, Sheldon Keefe, fine. He probably should be a little higher.
I think a little higher. I think the fact that Toronto didn't go anywhere, but I don't put that all on him. I put that all on bad roster construction. Go ahead.
Andrew Burnett in Nashville, too high. He's not there yet.
Yeah, I mean his record. Okay, what he subbed in Florida and he did a good job, but they didn't hire him.
Right.
He's a good assistant in New Jersey, and he had one okay year. Maybe middle of the pack, fine, but maybe it's a little high. Go ahead.
Chris Knobloch, 13. I don't know.
Not a friggin' chance.
I don't think so, and I like him. I do, but I think
no. Please. That's based on 1.5 year with Connor McDavid as your player.
Now this next one is criminal.
Okay.
Craig Berube, 12. 12? Seriously?
He won a cup. I mean,
how many guys on this list won a cup? You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be guys.
Probably 5 or 6 at least.
Right.
Yeah. No. I mean, well, let's.
Okay. Here's the argument.
His record in St. Louis was good even after winning the cup. He made the playoffs, I think, almost every year until the year he got fired.
Right.
His record in Philadelphia was not good, but that wasn't a good team. Mm-hmm. I think it's in the range.
So John Tortorella is one spot above him. I put Berube ahead of Tortorella.
Yes, I agree.
Because recently he's done better.
Right.
Okay. And then John's there too. That's fine. Jim Montgomery, 9. Okay.
Okay, fine.
This one's criminal. Jared Bednar, 8. Get out of here. Seriously.
He won a cup.
And he's better than some of the ones we're going to name.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd actually say a few spots higher.
Yes. I would say 2.
Okay.
Peter Laviolette, 7. He's more like 8.
Okay. But that's range is fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Mike Sullivan. Oh, no, sorry. Rod Brindamore, 6. He's more like 7.
Yeah, because I love Brindamore as a coach.
But he hasn't won anything.
He hasn't won anything. He has not won.
He hasn't even gotten to the cup.
Right. Now he's gotten to the conference final.
Right, but not the cup.
He's a higher level Sheldon Keefe.
Right. So he should not be at 6. Mike Sullivan, 5. Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Peter DeBoer, 4. Okay.
Okay.
Bruce Cassidy, 3. Doesn't feel right, but
won a cup in Vegas, got to the cup final in Boston, had a lot of success in Boston.
Yeah, I feel like DeBoer is better than him. I feel like even Sullivan's better than him.
So one is Cooper, who's 2.
1 is Cooper. 2 is Maurice. I can't put Paul Maurice 2. Sorry.
That's
good. He's top 6.
That's recency bias. That's
it is. He's top 6, but yeah.
Yeah.
Rangers 9-1Z. Rod is not 6. He hasn't made it to the Stanley Cup. He hasn't.
Rod in the top 3 is a joke. I'm sorry. It's like, I
like him. He's a very good coach.
Yeah. Part of rating a coach is the success that they get.
Right.
So
he might go another year not using Kochetkov and going with Freddie and again not making it past the conference final. How many years do you give him a pass on that?
Right. You if you're Carolina, you need to go with Kochetkov as your number 1 and find out what he is.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, it's criminal.
Yeah.
Now, okay, last thing. There is some underlying chatter about Ilya Sorokin. And the situation is that he may have had some injury. They're not saying what, anything with with Lou Lamoriello and the Islanders is always shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
But there was an underlying injury at the end of the season, and that's why they went with Varlamov rather than Roy loving Varlamov from his days in Colorado. They think that this injury is still lingering, and now going into camp, which is a week or two, we don't know what the status of
Sorokin. Goalie, right? So it's a knee or a hip.
Or a groin.
Or groin. One of those three.
Yes.
This is where transparency would be really nice for the fan base.
Yes.
It's not going to change anybody's opinion of how they play against the Islanders from game to game because Varlamov's an excellent goaltender, so it doesn't matter. But I feel bad for Islander fans because now you have no idea what's going to happen with your star goalie, and that will affect your season. Like, that's playoffs or not. So, Varlamov is very good, but he's getting older, and he probably can't carry the load. And he's not expected to carry the load, but now he might have to.
Well, I mean, right, and that's definitely going to affect the Islanders in terms of their playoff chances because I consider them a bubble team.
They're a bubble team as is, yeah.
Yeah, they're a bubble team as is, and if Sorokin is not available. Now, we don't know what this is, if this is something that he can, play through, if this is like who's the Yankee, the Japanese pitcher, the Hideki, not Matsui, but the not Arabu.
Oh, no, I know who you mean. The guy from a couple years ago. Tanaka, yeah.
Tanaka, who had an arm injury, but he pitched through it for 6 years, and he still pitched. He pitched well, but he wasn't the pitcher that he was supposed to be because of the injury. Sorokin is a Vezina candidate. He's one of the best goalies in the league, but if he's debilitated, I mean, if he has to have surgery to correct it, my question is, if this is something that and I hate this. I understand why, but I hate the fact that you've gone through 3-4 months of not playing, hoping that you can rehabilitate it without having surgery. And then you're coming into a week to 2 weeks before training camp. And now you don't know whether the guy's going to be available. And if he isn't available, then he's going to have the surgery and miss half the season, or more, like what happened with Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky missed 2.5 months with the back injury. Find out what it is right away and take care of it. Otherwise, you risk the team going forward. So I mean, I don't understand what the Islanders are doing. This should have been rectified, whatever it is, and we don't know what it is. But I think there's a pall hanging over that team for next season if he's not available.
There's another team in trouble too. It's Vancouver.
Okay. Oh yeah, with Demko. Yeah.
He has a knee injury that he's going to have to play through pain. Look, folks, I have this. I played in my softball game. I went 1 for 3. I have 100% pain all the time in this elbow. He can do it. The problem
is that a copper fit? Are you the guy from Law and Order?
No, that doesn't work. No, this is just something that is as a padding on it makes it feel a little better. And I could swing a bat with it fine. And it's just I'm in constant pain. He's going to be in pain. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But here's the point. The point is Seelovs is hurt.
He's also hurt, right?
They got a problem,
Yeah, and everybody's fighting over Martin Jones because Martin Jones is out there.
This could alter the Canucks season, a lot.
Yeah, and there's not there are not a lot of goaltenders out there.
No.
So
Nice if they'd have had a drafted one that was good, but Michael DiPietro never made it.
No, and Jeremy Swayman, that situation with Boston.
Swayman's laughing, man. He's winning here.
Yes, he's putting I mean, if your goaltending tandem going into the season, if Swayman holds out, and your goaltending tandem going into the season is Jopus Korpisalo and Martin Jones, you're in trouble. I mean, that team.
They gave him the moment. They gave him the power. I don't understand it.
Well, they should have signed him to the contract before they traded Ullmark.
Yes. They
didn't.
I gave him the leverage.
Yeah. They traded Casey DeSmith. Who is their? Hold on. Let me just check here. Who is there?
Everybody just plays musical chairs with goalies.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes, Filovs. They have Nikita Tolopio. Who I don't know. Ty Young. Yuri Patera. Oh my God. Yeah, they are in trouble. They're gonna.
I was gonna say since Since DiPietro, it looks like Vancouver has drafted 4 goalies.
Right, but on the
drafting a goalie every year, teams, just about every year.
Yeah, that's what Toronto has been doing the last few years. Is they've been drafting a Russian goaltender every year, and now they've got 2 of them over here and one back in Russia who's 18.
Example: Matthew Thiessen. They drafted him in 2018. He's still playing college.
Yeah,
he played 5 years in college.
Yeah, Tolopio is he played in the KHL with Dynamo Minsk and in the Swedish league. He's from Belarus. He played last year with Abbotsford and played 35 games, 20-13-1 record, 905 save percentage. So, he's played at least half a year in the. You know who might be able to help him out?
Who?
Is the Buffalo Sabres, because
maybe
if they decide that Devin Levi is going to be the backup to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, then James Reimer and Felix Sandstrom, who they have also in the organization, those are goalies with NHL experience. At least that if Demko has to have surgery on his knee, you could have somebody step in there for a little time. Now I don't know the extent of Svilov's injury, how bad it is.
I heard he's out for a while. Let me look.
Jeez, they're in deep trouble because that team needs a good goaltender. They're a wide open offense.
They have not drafted good goaltending. Really, Demko is it. Svilov's wasn't drafted.
Yeah, if not that, then maybe they call on.
He's got inflammation in the knee. It's not expected to be serious, so they said in late August. But if he starts playing, he's got inflammation in the knee. Mike, we kind of know. So they basically 2 goalies with 2 good knees.
Yep. Hello, Mike Greer. What do you want for Vitek Vanacek? Because remember, they have Blackwood, Vanacek, and Askarov.
Yeah.
So that you might be able to get a goaltender out of there, but it's a question of how long these guys are going to be out. So very interesting.
Demko won't be out. He's just gotten it out. That's it.
Yeah. Well, not good. All right. Well, we'll be back on Wednesday. Stay tuned. Billy Huso. Yeah. Good luck with that. He's not the goalie that everybody thought he was, but we'll be back.
Peter Mrazek's looking for a job. Give him a call.
No, he's not. He loves it in Chicago. He's getting overpaid in Chicago.
Yeah, but he's not getting used enough now, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. Remember, what's his name? The former Vegas goaltender, the backup from Winnipeg.
Logan Thompson.
Brassois.
Brassois.
He's out for 2 months with a knee.
Oh, so he's going to get more time.
Last
year he did all right, but I thought this year they were going to not use him. Okay.
It's going to be Mrazek and Arvid Soderblom. So, okay, we'll be back on Wednesday at some point with another edition of the Hockey Buzzcast. Cam Talbot. Is he still out there?
I think he might be. I don't know.
Oh, my God. And at that time, we will discuss the Aaron Rodgers season debut against the San Francisco 49ers. For Russ Cohen, I'm Michael Agello. Thanks for watching. And remember, without the buzz, it's just hockey.
Mike Rick.